Good morning, Swords Creek. I'm Ava.
And I'm Brianna.
Today is Tuesday, April 18th, and you're watching ITC News.
Please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Have a great day, guys.
Earth Day is coming up on April 22nd. Eco Club and Student Council will be coming together to do a trash pickup on school grounds on April 24th. Meet us in room 309.
In other news, the High School Drama Club is presenting the Addams Family Musical. Join Wednesday Morticia Gomez-Fester and the entire Addams crew for a show that will tickle your funny bone and make you laugh yourself to death.
Shows are this weekend on the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd at the Swartz Creek Performing Arts Center. Get your tickets before they pass away for good.
Now on to today's video lineup.
First off, a look at the Senior Reality Fair.
Next, what teachers did before working at Swartz Creek.
Then, Joey's Orange Juice prank.
And finally, a recap of the spring break Spanish trip.
Enjoy!
This past Wednesday, seniors were asked to come in during the testing day for freshmen, sophomores, and juniors to help make up for some of the lost days at the beginning of the school year. That day, the counselors planned a reality fair with local credit unions in order to teach the seniors about budgeting after high school. To do this, seniors were asked to download an app and pick a career, then being assigned a budget and credit score. There were several tables set up around the PAC lobby where students were able to choose between different options for categories such as transportation, housing, food, leisure, and more. The goal was to plan their expenses for the month and end without debt.
My salary I started with was in the high 2000s and I ended with around $110.
Students overall felt that it provided them with a reality check about the responsibilities of managing a budget outside of high school.
I'd say one of the things I definitely got out of this most was just realizing how hard the real world can be, especially if you're stuck in a situation that isn't exactly ideal. You definitely have to make do with what you've got and don't take any money you've got for granted, even if it's just $5 or $10. Make sure you spend it wisely. Definitely got me just a little bit more of a reality check there on what I will be able to and not be able to do once I move out into the real world and get out into college, and make sure I pursue a higher education and get that good job so that I'm not stuck having to make sacrifices every day of the month.
I enjoyed the freedom of being able to choose my career and what services I got and what housing I got. And then I disliked that it forced you to pick some of the things. It forced you to choose certain housing depending on if you wanted a roommate or not, and you couldn't just get a smaller house if you wanted a roommate. You had to choose the biggest option.
Thank you to our counselors and local credit unions for setting up this event.
My name is Mrs. Runkle, and before I became a teacher, I worked at Express while I was in college. I went to Grand Valley State, so I worked at Express, and then during the summer I worked at a camp called SCAMP from Clarkston, which is for special needs kids, and I also coached high jump for a summer, and I took some summer classes at college to make my time in college shorter. And just did some camping with family. I don't think I did any major traveling before I became a teacher that I can remember. So that's what my life was like.
Well, I went to Central, got my degree, obviously, graduated, looked for a teaching job. In the meantime, just had some different jobs and was just looking for a job, basically, to become a teacher.
My name is Mrs. Offenbecker, and what my life was like before I was a teacher, it was a little bit more carefree and a little less responsibility because I was in college. I stayed at home for college, so I didn't go away to school. So I actually did my student teaching and got married the same semester, so then I had to move out of the house, start paying bills, getting a career job. Had to be a little bit more responsible and rely on myself a little bit more than I had done in the past.
I'm Mrs. Yancer, and before I was a teacher, I used to have all sorts of jobs, anywhere from fast food to bakeries, and I actually worked at a phone company. I would receive phone calls all day of people screaming at me either because their phone wasn't working or they didn't pay their bill, and so people would call and scream at me all day. Fortunately for me, the company I worked for had tuition reimbursement, so they would pay for my school while I worked there. So I let them do that, and they paid for a lot of my schooling. And right when I was ready to student teach, they let me go because they were downsizing, and I student taught, and here I am.
Hi, I'm Mrs. LaFang, and what I did before I became a teacher I was newly married and I was going to U of M Flint, and I was working at Best Buy on Miller Road in Flint.
What's going on, guys? We're back. Alright, today we finna be doing some science for y'all. Milk is one of the most non-acidic drinks there is, and orange juice is the most acidic. So, when you give someone orange juice and they think that it's milk, they have a pretty funny reaction. So let's go and try that out.
And that gotta be whole milk. Gotta be whole milk. 2%. 2%. That's almond milk. That's not milk. That's gotta be skim or something. That's orange juice. That's orange juice.
That's not milk.
Oh, what is? It's skim.
Oh! Oh, what the? That's gotta be almond. Oh my god, people drink that? Is that orange juice?
17 of us traveled to Puerto Rico for spring break. I think one of my favorite things about the trip was seeing students become more independent, learn their way around different places, experience things that they would never have experienced. One of my favorite things was the snorkeling, where we got to go with a reef and see tropical fish and the ecosystem. But there's so many things that was amazing about that trip. It's hard to pick just one.
We got to see like a fortaleza, like an old fort and everything, and kind of look at how it was set up. We got to see like a historical cannon. We got to go to like an older tower. We got to see like the cavern, so not like a man-made historical thing, but like a nature history thing, so lots of cool stuff.
I would recommend traveling school trips to anyone and everyone because I think it raises awareness about different cultures. There's more to the world than just Swartz Creek, and being able to function outside of here and see different people, different cultures, and adapt to that is a lifelong skill.
You get to do so many cool things and you're learning a whole bunch of stuff, but it doesn't even feel educational since it's very hands-on, it's very interactive. The weather's gorgeous. It feels like a vacation, but you're actually learning stuff too. Also, at first glance, it can seem like a lot of money because they're big trips, it makes sense, but these trips typically include almost everything. Your airfare, which that alone right now is ridiculous. Your hotels, a lot of times includes multiple meals. You're paying for a tour guide. You're going to all these different places and getting the fees already taken care of. So technically speaking, when you break it down, it's actually more affordable to go on a school trip than if you were to try and do it by yourself.
Next summer, so that's 2024 in June, I am planning a trip to the Swiss Alps and the Mediterranean coast. So that is a 13-day trip where we will travel to 5 different countries, which I'm super pumped for. If anybody's interested, there's still about 5 spots left, so let me know. And then I am actually planning a trip for 2025 spring break, so that's in 2 years. And that would be to Costa Rica. So that trip would be zip lining, going to the rainforest again, going on an aerial tram to look above into the cloud forest, just tons of cool stuff.
If you have any questions about the next spring break trips, please contact Mrs. Bowden or Mrs. Mahalchek.